Well, sorry I've not been about. Sometimes life gets in the way of football, doesn't it? I had some other things on, so no videos for the last two games. A really good win against Birmingham, and of course a defeat against Leicester, a much expected defeat. We didn't think we'd get out there, and so it proved. Although apparently a very good second half performance. So we then face a tricky visit down to the Den against Millwall. Never an easy game down there. However, Millwall having their own problems. Just 1 point from the last 6 games they've taken. And Wednesday made some changes for the trip. Millwall then, Sarkic in goal, back three, Leonard, Tanganga and Cooper, the big bastard, McNamara and Wallace, the wing-backs, Honeyman and Donati in the centre of the park, and Fleming and Essie in the wide positions, supporting Bradshaw at centre-forward. Changes for Wednesday, they also went to a back 3/back 5, Beadle in goal, recall Philly and Palmer. He played in the back 3 with Michael Heckway and Deshaun Bernard, Valentin and Johnson the wing-backs, Will Volks in the centre of the park with Barry Bannon, and it was Poveda and Masaba supporting Ugbo up front. So did Danny Rull change Wednesday's line-up to sort of fall in line with the way that Millwall had lined up, quite similar there across the middle? I don't know, possibly. I'm sure he looks into all those details. I know personally I like 3 middle, but with the way they were playing today, if we were going to play 2 at middle, this was probably a game to do it in where we weren't going to be massively outnumbered in there. And I think it proved that as the game progressed. I thought Barry Bannon had a terrific game in middle at Park, moving ball about really well. Today tactics paid off. Blistering start in terms of it being a frenetic start to the game. Obviously 2 teams, bottom end at table, scrapping out for points. McNamara, absolute blockbuster tackle after about 2 minutes. I'm saying blockbuster tackle, it was a foul. Chucked him sen in there. Obviously he'd really got bit between his teeth. He were well up for it. And I thought it was a scrappy opening, probably 10 minutes really. Lots of giving ball away. I'd say they were slightly on top, but they were really rattling into tackles, bit between teeth. Not a great spectacle. I think probably the first sort of proper moment of quality was Wednesday. Valentin went on a really good run down right side, beat 2 players. Just tried to knock it past third player, just an heavy touch, just took it away from him. But yeah, first 10-15 minutes, so that were only real proper moment of quality. I don't want to say what a catalyst, but probably 5-6 minutes after that, Poveda, he did a really good run and turn. Not quick his play, he's lively, but he's not quick if you know what I mean. Really good turn. Started pulling away from his man, I think it was at Donati, but just not enough to get away from him. He got back, put a strong tackle in, and of course then he goes down, and you're like, oh, here we go, because it would be typical a Wednesday, wouldn't it, to get a player in who he looks exciting, he looks like he can do something with ball. In fact, I've just seen a text that my mate had sent me about him, which he actually sent me last week, which shows you how good I am with technology. Looks like he can do stuff on, but he went down holding hamstring, and you thought, oh Christ, here we go. But he sort of, little smile, Danny Rull gave him a pat on the head and he went back on. But overall, I would say first and half an hour, I thought Millwall probably edged it without really creating out clear cut. I don't think, I'm struggling to think of Beadle having to make a save in that first half an hour or so. They had a free kick that nobody managed to get on end of, and there was a bit, one of their lads, was it McNamara? I can't remember. One of their lads got away down right hand side, put a really good cross in, and their lad in middle, he's half-arsed. If I were manager, I'd have been asking questions at him, because you've got to get in there and attack ball, haven't you? I thought that was a little bit of a let-off for Wednesday. But yeah, they edged it, but I thought we were in game. And whilst I thought they edged it, and we were struggling to get ball to stick up top, and sort of give us the out ball, and never felt under that much pressure from him. One decent move, Bannon got ball, he got it out to Marvin Johnson, that sort of link that we saw so much last year. Marv did really well, skipped away from his man. I think it was Honeyman, just grabs him. It's absolute, it's like WWF in there. Blatant, don't even try and hide it from ref. And like I said, for all I thought they'd slightly edged it, I thought they'd got a slightly desperate look in terms of the defending. Going forward, trying to do things, but Wednesday had them little opportunities to break, I thought they were... And I thought Millwall defensively had got that fear factor, where people are that terrified of making a mistake, that it's actually more likely to make you make a mistake, if you like. And I think we saw that for one of the goals, where one of the players gets really tight on Masaba when someone else is actually in vicinity, and he allows himself to get spun. A good bit of footwork, but still, and it's that thing, isn't it, of you're that desperate to do well, that I think it stops you thinking in bigger picture. You're that focused, I'm going to get in here, I'm going to try and win this tackle or whatever, and you're not having that look about you, I may as well talk about that goal, Anna, because I've just mentioned anyway. It's a little ball in from Bannon. Masaba's got a lad near him, turns it the other way, and as I said, defender comes in really quick. Too quick, Masaba just side foots it round him. Clean pair of heels down left hand side. And I was a bit surprised when he started, because I think that although he was showing bright sparks at the beginning of the season, I think Gassama has overtook him in terms of form and creating opportunities and looking like a better fit for the team with his decision making. Masaba is left-footed, and I think that gave us today with M3, obviously Johnson, Bannon, it gives us a little bit of impetus down that side and that natural balance, and he showed that with the goal, because it streaks down left hand side, and it's an absolutely fantastic ball into the box, and that's where both him and Gassama at times, I think we've all probably thought about it and mentioned it to our mates, the decision making. They can beat two players, but final ball, where's final ball, where's getting head up? Does it brilliantly this time, streaks away that left hand side, head up, seats run, and it's a great ball into the mixer, which very old fashioned these days, and people will no point putting crosses in. Statistically, teams don't score from crosses, but if you put a cross in the right area, for me, still one of the most dangerous things you can do in an attacking third at pitch. Fantastic ball, and Ugbo's on end of it, 6-yard box, sliding in. Third goal for Wednesday. And he could have had 4 or 5, he hit post, he's hit bar, he hit post in cup game against Coventry. I thought he were unlucky with that. And although he's one of these modern players who comes under this umbrella term that he's a forward, just a forward player, and I know Cardiff fans said he's played out wide for them, and there's still a lot of talk with Wednesday fans, maybe he's more of a number 10, and he has played that role for us. I thought he did a decent job down middle today, and he's got the threat of pace, which even if you don't use it, even if you don't get the opportunity to use it, the threat of the pace affects how the opposition team defend against you, because they don't want to leave that big space in behind. So 3-3, and for all that, we need a proper centre forward. I've said it myself. I think he's come in and he looks like a goal scorer to me. He's always on end of things. Right place, right time. He scored the header the other day. And actually it goes back to what I was saying about the Millwall lad. Crossing to the box, he made no attempt to get on end of it there, lad. But as you look at Ugbo, other week, Johnson clips that ball in. He towers above there, lad, to get that header. Absolute tower. Because he's desperate to get there. He's desperate to get there, and that's that hunger for goals, that desperation. I'm going to get out into this. This is a great opportunity for me. Hunger and desire to get on end of things, and he's done that. And if, like I said, he's probably unlucky he's not already getting for 4 or 5 goals for us. And I know it doesn't sound a lot. Could he get 8, 9 goals before end of season? I don't think that'd be a bad return, and it obviously as a team and a club it does a massive favour. 2-0. It's funny because, like I said, I thought Millwall had edged it. I thought they were desperate to get a goal, desperate to attack, almost too desperate not to concede, which I think left them little gaps for us to expose. And then 2-0, Masaba. Again, and we talk about this having that left foot. Brilliant ball from Barry Bannon. There's not many players spot that ball, you know. Bannon, Modric, me, you know. Slots him in. Really composed finish. And I think that's the benefit of having, you know, your wingers on the right side of the pitch. I know it's nice when they can cut in like Gassama cuts in, and Chris Waddle used to cut in for us, and Brunt now and again. But sometimes having that natural balance, he streaks on down pitch, and it's a lovely left foot. Enough far post, just inside far post. I like them goals. You know, when it's inside at side netting, I love them goals. Couldn't have placed it any better. 2-0 Wednesday. They look shell-shocked. Boos ringing out and chants, you're shit at their own players from fans. Obviously they're frustrated. But obviously because they're sinking fast, I think, like I said, I think they've took 1 point in the last 6 games. I didn't realise they were on such a bad run. When I looked at fixtures, I thought, oh, Millwall, that'll be a tough one. And then I looked at the table and I'm like, geez, how come they're down there? You know. Although it's funny because even at 2-0, I then start getting, not panicked, but I'm just like, right, no daft now. Let's just nice and steady. No, don't take chances. Let's not have any of these square passes across 18-yard box, you know. And I think that's just been a Wednesday fan, you know. 3, 4, maybe 5-0. I get to a position when I'm like, yeah, we're all right now. Can afford to cock up. But at 2-0, no, I didn't really enjoy it. I were nervy and edgy. I think part of that is the atmosphere, you know, a bit of a cauldron down there at the Den. Obviously they were on their team's backs, and I know that's, as the away team, you see that as a bonus. Or fans have turned, but equally when a stadium's in that emotional, passionate mood, one goal, if they'd pulled one goal back, that could have really changed the atmosphere. Once folks are in that sort of shouting moment, if you know what I mean, once they're in that vocal position and they're in that sort of mood, it can sway back to a positive with a goal. When there's that outpouring, I think that's the word I was so badly scrabbling for. So I was just like, let's just keep it tight. No daft, you know. And this part, yeah, the kid inside you that's like, yeah, let's go and get a third and finish them off. But as you get older, let's just not fuck about here now. Yeah, God, absolute chorus of boos for Millwall as they went off at half time. I don't think they were left in any doubts as to what the home fans thought about that performance. Although, as I said, I don't think they'd been poor. Maybe a bit more desire to get an end of stuff at one end of pitch, and as I said, maybe almost trying a bit too hard at other end of pitch, and it's that fear factor. So they went off to a chorus of boos, which, as I said, would have been a tonic for Wednesday going in at half time, but I was still a bit nervy. Second half, I don't know if they've had a bollocking at half time. I'm not sure bollockings work anymore, do they? I think players are a different breed, you know, from when we were playing, and maybe he's just filled them with positive messages. But whatever it were, I thought Millwall come out and give it a bit of a go in second half. They were that Donati played a good ball out wide. And Palmer did really well to get across, stop that edge of box, because I think they'd have been in there. And as I said, one goal, even if you've got the lead still, if a team pulls that one goal back, you can sink, can't you? You can sink. So it's all psychological, isn't it? A lot of it, especially this stage of season, the season we've had, the season that they're starting to have. Little moments can play havoc up here. So really glad that Palmer got there and blocked. Thought he had a decent game actually. Back there in back three. Heckway made a lot of headers again, as he does. And Bernard made a really good block, because there was a moment ball come in. And I think Beadle were a bit no man's land. It looked like he were going to come, then he weren't sure if he were going to come, and I'm sure it was Bernard managed to get it away of a bar. And like I said, they were coming forward, having a bit of a go at it, and I suspect their managers said, these have been near bottom at table all season, but this is an opportunity for us to pull away from trapdoor sort of thing. So they did have a go at it. But I thought Wednesday equally looked more comfortable on ball than they had in first half. I thought Bannon started getting into the game more, controlling his passing, and I thought if anything there was probably opportunity that we might get a third goal on counter attack. And it's that tricky thing though, isn't it, that you've got 2-goal cushion. You don't want to go and push for a third and get caught out and they get one back. Equally, you don't want to be sitting off saying, we've got 2-goal cushion, let's sit back, soak it up and get counter-attack and then get third, because what happens if you just sit back and then they score and you've got into that momentum of just sitting back and defending? We saw that under Cisco. That was his entire game plan. We'll sit back, we'll frustrate them, we'll hit them on counter-attack, we'll invite them onto us. But of course, the fall down in that plan B, we invited teams onto us and they scored loads of goals against us, and then we'd not got a plan B. So I think Wednesday, I'm pleased with performance today because they've got that balance right. It's very easy to start sitting off, and then next thing you're looking across the line and you're like, hang on, we're 5 yards deeper than we were 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? You don't want to get caught too far up and get caught out with your ball back. So I thought they got balance right today. So they chucked a load of subs on. Wednesday brought Smith on. Try and hold things up a little bit for us. But it's funny, it's like his second season now, and I'm still finding myself a bit confused with Michael Smith. He spends too much time in channel for me. I'm not saying that's his fault. Very clearly under Darren Moore, he was asked to go out and operate and work channels and try and stretch back lines. But for me, with his goals record, I'd just be saying just width at 18-yard box. Don't get out there or out there. Just stay in there. Be all arse and elbows in there for me. But he came on, played a part. And we managed to see it out. Like I said, a bit nervy. Beadle had to make a save with his hand. Actually, I think the referee actually get a goal kick, but he definitely got his palm to one. They had a bit of a break. Then they had a late opportunity, 80-odd minutes, similar to a chance in first half, but probably worse. Great cross into the box, and there's sub, I forget his name, he's come on, and again chucks himself at it. I think it's a good opportunity. It might have only been 2-1, but it makes it a frenetic last 5-minute finish, and again, if I'm their gaffer, I'm a bit disappointed. Why are you not chucking it yourself at that? I might get bashed on head. I think it was one of them personally, but there we go. Glad he didn't. Interesting last 5 minutes. Fletcher had come on, sort of operating off the flank. He made a blind pass, A shocking blind, the sort of blind pass I was on about 5 minutes ago, where you don't want to see them sort of square balls without looking. He's made one of them. It's got cut out. He's tracked back the kid. It's frustrating for so many reasons. A, leave it to somebody else. Sometimes when you've made a cock up, I have made a cock up, the team will deal with it. If you are going to get back and try and atone for your error, it's easier and quicker to run without the ball than it is to run with the ball in it. So if their player's heading off with a ball, try and get round, try and get a covering position, but he makes that fatal mistake, and I hate to see it. And it's all levels of football. You see under 5, 6 or whatever, all the way up. We even see it at international level. Is when player trying to recover it just gets in player's slipstream. Even if you don't mean to, the chances of you catching their feet are massive when legs are in stride, and it catches him front back. Is it deliberate? Is it not deliberate? But either way, it's clumsy. Yellow card, second yellow, which surprised me because I couldn't remember at first, and it'd only been on pitch about 6 minutes. But I felt life for me. I'll have to watch it back, but I can't remember at first card unless he's got one for foul and one for lip. I don't know, but he got his marching orders, and then you're like, oh, here we go, 10 men. It'd be typical Wednesday. But we managed to cling on, which were really pleasing. A tough game, not a great watch, but it's probably not going to be, is it, this stage of the season and going into this last sort of just over an handful of games left. They're not going to be pretty, are they? There's going to be ugly games in there, there's going to be scrappy games in there, but we dug in, clean sheet, 2 goals, and they were good goals actually, to be fair, good goals. And it weren't that I didn't enjoy it today, not because Wednesday were particularly bad. I didn't think we were bad. I thought it was a good, solid away performance. Tight when we had to be, cleared it when we had to, headed it, kicked it off at stand, whatever. And 2 quality goals, but I just found it a tough watch. I think because of me, rather than Wednesday's performance. Thought the performance were decent, but just, you know, when you just, not palpitations, but just like, come on, no daft, it's nice and steady, and you're looking at the clock and 10 minutes to go, you're like, referee, get it blown. In fact, that was the only thing I was quite pleasantly surprised. There were only like 6 or 7 minutes injury time, because there'd been a few stops and starts in game. There'd been a couple of times players had gone down for treatment, and I thought, probably looking at bloody 10-12 minutes here. 10-12 minutes more to ship me, saying, you know. But no, only like, I think it was 6 or 7 minutes or something, so that was a bonus. And vital points as well, stops them pulling further away. Like I said, I didn't realise they were that low down. Other results down at bottom end of the table, another defeat for Rotherham United. Watford this time, a spear with a goal in 58th minute. They're dead and buried now, aren't they, Rotherham? I think even the most ardent Miller would have to admit that. In fact, their manager Richardson today on interview after game, the way he was talking, it more or less all seemed to be about rebuilding for next season and putting things in place. Another win for QPR. They got a result at Bristol City, 1-0. Chair with a goal there. Well, it's not Chair. Chair. I know, but you know what I mean. Commentators love it, don't they? They love an excuse to... I mean, do you remember that with Drogba? I mean, it'd been Drogba for 2 years, weren't it? And then one commentator, Drogba. And then suddenly it did all at it. Didier Drogba. I can't blame it all on Clive Tildesley, but him with Brazilians, he was worse for it. Diego dos Santos Nascimento Bemrene. Just says Tony on back of his shirt. Clive played a fucking game. Huddersfield Town, what a game down there. Greaves give Hull an early lead. Radoni pulled it back 2 minutes into injury time, they must have thought they were on for another vital point there. But then Greaves again, late winner, 94th minute down there. A new manager winging his way to Huddersfield as well. Poor old John Worthington stepped into the breach when Darren Moore got the boot. And it changed things around a bit, ditched that back three. I don't know why they were playing with a back three with Tom Lees, because it's never suited him anyway, but switched to a back four, 2 good wins, including one of a Wednesday, and but it's not good enough. He's not been given opportunity to carry on there. Mind you, very unfashionable name, John Worthington. You know, he sounds like a plasterer that runs a karaoke thing on a Monday night down in club. So they're going down the Foreign Avenue, same as Wednesday have. We'll see where that ends up with them. But yeah, poor old John Worthington. Another game there, Stoke City, 1-0 defeat at home to Coventry. Sims with the goal there. Now, why am I mentioning Stoke? Well, because a bit like Millwall, they're surprisingly lower down the table than I thought. As you can see there, Stoke been pulled down into it there, 35 points after that defeat to Coventry today. Huddersfield 34. Millwall, that defeat today keeps them just above the drop zone, a point ahead of QPR, who got that 1-0 win. And Wednesday, 29 points, clinging in there, clinging in. 4 points off Millwall now. Some big games coming up. Can we do it? Oh God, I don't know. If it goes to wire, I think we'd have to say that's a good result after the start we had to the season, but it's a task. It is a task. And there's Rotherham, dead and buried. Tight. It could go all the way, couldn't it? Bristol City up next. That'll be another tough game. They're all going to be tough games now, aren't they? But Bristol City next. And then Rotherham, which is a game that I don't enjoy them games. I mean, as I've just said, I think they're probably dead and buried now. Their manager sounded very sort of matter of fact about it, like he's accepting of it now. But equally, they'll want to win that game. See, I don't see them as a derby. I know they are. I know it's 2 minutes down the road. I don't really see it as a big derby game, but that's how they often play out anyway. It'd just be a shame for us to go somewhere like Millwall and get a win and then, you know, lose to Rotherham or big games. God, tense. Very tense. It's going to be a very tense ending to the season. But possibly very exciting. And honestly, I know it sounds daft, and in football you want proper success, whatever that is. European Cups, FA Cups, league titles. But genuinely for this season, I think staying up would be a success for Wednesday. I think it would have been a success before the season kicked off. And then after the first 10 games or so under Cisco, I think staying up now would have to be considered one of the best achievements in the last 10 years. I genuinely would, because we looked dead and buried. We looked in a worse position than Rotherham. So if we can pull it off, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's going to be tough. Going to be really tough. But at the end of the day, it's exciting, isn't it? Would you rather this or just be sat in boring mid-table? Yeah, I'd probably take boring mid-table. Well, that would be a shit question, really, wouldn't it?